Hello, everyone. Welcome to our DBFleet and Intellishift webinar, and thank you so much for attending. I just want to go through a couple of items before we jump right into everything, and it'll give time for people to trickle in as this is starting. So first up, my name is Cheyenne DeVries. I'm the Manager of Sales and Strategic Partnerships here at Data Basics. I may not have had the pleasure of meeting all of you, so hello, and please feel free to reach out after the webinar and introduce yourself to me. We also have Patrick. And Patrick, I don't want to butcher your last name. Is it Query?
Yes.
Okay, we also have Patrick Query here from Intellishift. He's the Senior Director of Product. Is that the correct title?
That is correct. It's wonderful to meet you all. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be with Data Basics and Intellishift on today's webinar. We have a lot of great things to share and show you guys today.
Awesome. And then special shout out, we also have Nick Bauer and Kurt Schmidt who are running the Q&A tab. So more on that. You'll notice that all of your cameras, all of your microphones, those are all turned off for this. So please don't try to turn them on. Don't raise your hand. You'll notice the chat is turned off. You should still see at the top of your screen a Q&A bubble. So you should be able to still submit questions through that, which we will be monitoring and either answering out loud on this webinar, or if we run out of time, Nick and Kurt will be able to respond to those questions either directly to you, or we will make sure we get all of them. We will follow up with you after if we run out of any time to answer your questions. And you should also have an option to submit a question or a discussion. Doesn't matter which one you submit, both will get reviewed by us. So you don't have to worry too much about which specific option you're picking. And here's a brief agenda of everything we're going to do today. So we're going to do a quick, not too quick, live demo of DBFleet. We will kind of talk about the overview of the integration, and Patrick will take you through additional Intellishift features because they have quite a bit to offer. It's a fantastic partnership. And then at the end, as much time as we have left will be left for questions. So really quickly before I kind of launch into DBFleet, I just wanted to take a second and talk about who is Data Basics, what is SAMPro. So Data Basics is the company. SAMPro is our software. SAMPro stands for Service Accounting Management for the Professional, and it's a full ERP, service and construction management software. So it's an all-in-one solution for all your accounting, service, and job costing needs. All the modules are connected to each other, so you don't ever have to worry about doing any double data entry. Today, we're going to look at DBFleet, which is a fully integrated component of SAMPro. It's a cloud-based fleet management and GPS tracking tool that enables you to monitor technician and vehicle locations in relation to your work orders. There's also some built-in reports that we'll look at that are useful for route and labor verification. You can use DBFleet with Tech Anywhere to track technician device location. And when paired with Intellishift, you can use it to track vehicles. Intellishift is an all-in-one solution for all of your fleet management needs. And it integrates with DBFleet to bring you more exact GPS data. But as you'll find out from Patrick, after we look at DBFleet, you'll find out just how much else they offer later during the webinar. So with that, let's jump into DBFleet. Okay, so this is DBFleet. As you can see, it's a nice map with a lot of icons, and we're going to go through really briefly what all of these things stand for and all of the ways you can customize it to view exactly what you want to view. Every single user that you set up for access to DBFleet can customize their own map, and admins can set defaults and permissions to limit what is available and the various options that you want your users to have. So really quickly, I'm just going to use this legend down here in the bottom left to kind of take you through what the icons stand for. So as you can see, the various boxes, those are your work orders. So like this one out here near Chicago, this is a single work order. If I click on it, it'll bring up the information on this panel here. It shows me the work order type in the middle, the color is the status, and the border color is the priority. So that's all customizable as well. And then you also see these boxes with numbers. These are clusters of work orders. So if I click on a cluster, it'll show me all of the work orders that appear in that cluster. That's another thing that we'll look at. You can customize the cluster sensitivity so that if you didn't want to see, like if they're a certain distance from each other, maybe they will or won't cluster. You can customize that. Now you can see over here, there's some various vehicle icons. So this car that's here, he's turned off. It's a vehicle, but he's not going anywhere. The car is turned off. This one, you just saw it, switched from the arrow to this clock symbol. That means he was traveling and now he's idling. So the car is on, but he's just at a stopped location. It doesn't look like anyone is speeding at the moment. But if you click on, say, the traveling vehicle, it shows you the vehicle, it shows you how fast they're going, an approximate location. And if there was a technician like paired with this particular vehicle, you would see who that is as well. If they were speeding, you would see these little symbols showing you that they're going over the speed limit, which of course is also customizable. Like maybe you don't care if they go 5 over, but you care if they go 10 over. That's customizable for you. So that's a quick rundown of the iconography. Let's jump into more of the functionality. Oh, one more quick thing. These notifications here at the bottom, these will pop up every time a vehicle starts a trip, every time it stops, and every time it reaches a work order destination. So those things, you can click on them after you see them and they go away. Or if there's a lot that pile up, you can hit the trash can and get rid of all of them. And those can also be turned off if that's annoying and you don't want to look at those things. You can just shut off those notifications as well. So while we're speaking of all the options, let's just take a quick look at our settings. So here's all of the things that you can do to change and, view this how you want to view it. You can make your icons bigger or smaller. How big is your font size? What labels do you want to just see on the map? What do you want to see when you hover over it? You can see here, this is where you adjust the speed limit indicators. Similar options for your work orders, of course, adjusting the icon size and font size. I know sometimes people want to have labels turned on so they see like on the map without having to click on anything, they see the work order ID. For me, that gets a little bit cluttered with everything I have on there, so I leave that turned off. And then here you can also customize your colors based on status, and priority is the border around them. So all of that you can customize to your choice. Now we haven't talked about geofences yet. You don't see any on the map because they appear when a technician is actually in the area of the geofence, but this is how you verify using this platform that they have actually reached the location of a work order. So more options with this. And here on the map, here's where I was talking about that clustering sensitivity. So if you want them to not cluster so easily, you can turn that down. And you can choose like which icons appear over the top of the others. Like, do you want to see work order icons or vehicle icons, things like that. And as far as measurement goes, I believe this converting to metric, you would have to maybe do one other thing in the background, but then it would display in kilometers instead of miles. And here's where you can turn off those notifications. Over here on this side, this is kind of where you monitor what all you're seeing on the map. So your filter is the most important icon in this menu. By default, everyone's going to have this filter here for today's work orders. So you'll always, by default, get the today's work orders on the map, but you can create whatever filters you want to filter out your vehicles, your technicians, your work orders. You can share filters with users, so you don't always have to have everyone log in and create their own. You can create one that they can then import. So as you can see, I don't have any geofences in my filters right now. This is the list of work orders that appear on the map because this is what I'm filtering. So if I were to say, take off that one, that's going to get rid of a lot of the work orders on my map. So it's an easy way to filter what it is you're seeing. You can have people who log in for different things. Maybe you have people who come in and look at only the completed ones. They check out, where the technicians were, check out their route view, things like that. And you can also limit what vehicles you see. So if I say turn off this one, that's going to make a lot of the vehicles go away. Almost all of them. Now, just really quickly to highlight, you'll see that there is this icon that isn't appearing on my map, and that's because I don't have any technicians right now set up for Tech Anywhere GPS. We're just showing off the Intellishift GPS today. Intellishift offers much more exact GPS data, which I'll show you when we look at this route view. Just going to jump into the device menu here. Here's where you'll see your entire list of devices. In this case, it's all going to pull in all of the Intellishift ones. I just was messing with it, so it's thinking. So here's all of my Intellishift vehicles. This all pulls in automatically from Intellishift, so you don't have to come in here and enter it all again. This pulls in automatically. If you need to, you can still come in here and edit like who is the operator of a vehicle, but that is all done on the Intellishift side. So really it's just here for convenience if you need to change it here. And you can also mark whether or not this vehicle is active from this menu. So it's nice that it's here and you can edit it, but you likely are going to do all of this on the Intellishift side and get it all set up over there. And you'll notice that a lot of these have no technicians. Today, we're going to be looking at just Billy the helper. So he's assigned to a vehicle. Technicians, if I was using Tech Anywhere GPS, this would show me, like, besides just that this person is assigned to an Intellishift device, it would show if they were assigned to a Tech Anywhere device, but most of my technicians are disabled today. And again, if you needed to, you could make them active or not. Fleet groups. This is another way to organize your fleet. This also pulls in from Intellishift. So you can break this down really however you want, whether it's by region or by trade. It doesn't have to be complicated, but everything blue you see pulled in from how you organize your vehicles on the Intellishift side. So again, that's eliminating any of that double data entry. You wouldn't have to do it twice. I don't know if you can see the color difference on your screens, but this one is gray, this gray folder. That means that that was manually created. It didn't pull in from Intellishift. That was something made on this side. But all of the blue ones were automatically pulled in from Intellishift. Okay, so we're going to look at now the route view. This is used if you want to look at one single person's trip on a particular day. Like where did they go? What work orders did they hit? So we're going to look at yesterday for my technician, Billy the helper. And the advanced options here, you can kind of ignore these if you want, but this is really just going to change whether or not it considers something an idle or a stop. Let's just see what it pulls in. Now, some of you that already use DBFleet, you're going to notice as I'm showing this that we've updated some of the user interface, which is awesome. I'll talk about more as we get to it. But here's I'm looking at this route view. This is what you can use to verify and just see where exactly this person was at throughout the day. Over here, it's hiding behind the stop sign, but that's also the start sign. So you kind of have two different things you can do with this. You can choose to click on start, and you could go through each icon one by one and just click next. As you see, like it tells you what direction were they going, what speed were they going. It gives you an approximate location of where they are. Or you can come over here and click show details, and this opens a whole menu of all of their trips and stops. It tells you whether or not they were in a geofence of a work order, which is fantastic because that's kind of the data that you're looking for is were they actually at the work order when they said they were at the work order. If they idled, they'll have a little drop down that shows when during the trip did they idle. And this was not a geofence location. but it was the technician's house. And if you need to, you can export this to Excel and it will export both the trips, and you'll see here there's a stops tab too. So if you wanted to see just where they stopped at, not necessarily how long were they driving to each location, you want to see just where they stopped, you'll get this in the Excel export as well. So you can see he stopped for an hour and 20 minutes, not in a geofence. So that could be something where you're like, what were you doing? If you click on these, it also goes to right where they are on the map. Stopped for an hour and 20 minutes here, and then stop for an hour and 26 minutes at the actual work order. You can run this for one single technician at a time in this particular view. If you need to do it for a different day, there's an edit button or switch to a different technician. If they happened to drive like multiple vehicles for any reason, you would see both options here. Billy just drove this one vehicle yesterday, so you're not seeing multiple options here. But if he happened to drive this one vehicle to all of these, and then he drove a different vehicle, that would show another route view for the second trip that he would have taken in the other vehicle. Probably a more helpful version of the route view is going to be in our report section. There are some built-in reports and analytics, and I'll just highlight the best ones here for you. But if you wanted to see the travel and stops as a report, but for more than just one person, you can run it as this report right here. There's a lot of options. As you can see, you can select either like entire fleet groups, or you can select individual technicians. And this will run the same route view, but show it for a longer period of time if you need to, like if you want to look at multiple days. Like we could run it for several days. And it'll highlight if the travel time is you can change how much you want to highlight for travel time, like if they're traveling more than an hour and you want to see that. And the advanced options are still the same, how much you want to count as a stop or an idle. So this is a really beneficial report if you don't want to just look at one single technician at a time. Maybe you want to look at a group of people's travel trips. And this might just pull in my one technician because I think he was the only one that was actively doing anything. So now you have all of his trips and stops in one simple report over the course of 6 days. Well, 5 days. And it gives you the stop address. Now these ones here, this is important because it's actually highlighting that he was in a geofence. So all these other stops, they're just stops. But here you can see he was actually in the geofence of this particular work order. Since I'm talking a lot about geofences, I just wanted to show really briefly that you can change what is considered the geofence. There is a default that every work order, I believe it's 150 feet, 150 something. I don't remember if it's meters or feet around the work order.
It's meters.
Meters, thank you. 150 meters. Feet probably would not be very far now that I say that out loud. But you can change that. Just kidding. It's in this menu. When you click geofence, automatically it pulls in all of the client sites and tech addresses. It'll be a default of 150 meters around that site. But if you say, for instance, like let's look at one of the ones I put in. I think it was this one here. I widened this geofence quite a bit because this stop was at a university. It's like all of this is at the university, but the address landed here, just on this intersection. And the actual visit needed to happen down here at the hospital. So I widened this geofence quite a bit so that it would still capture that the technician was actually there because he wasn't here at this intersection. He was parked down here at the hospital for the visit. here you can lock or unlock it. Unlocked means if you update the default, or you update the default geofence for all of your work orders, then this would get changed back to whatever that default is. But if you lock it, even if you change the default for all of your work orders, this one would not get changed, which is good because I don't want it to go back to being small. Then it would look like he was far away from where he needed to be when he was submitting all of his labor and travel time and things like that. What else is helpful? Other great features, if you are a dispatcher and you're kind of wanting to see like what's a good route, you can click on a person, this person's moving, and you can use the find closest work order button. This will find the top 10 closest work orders to that tech. And if you want to edit and maybe look at this for a different device or a different filter of work orders, you can change that here. You can't assign them from this menu, but you can, if you did the same thing, but from the work order side. For instance, if you click on a work order and then you click find closest tech, this will also give you the top 10 closest technicians to that work order. And again, if you come up here and click edit, you can change the filter of what exactly you're looking at. So say we decide this guy, Felix, he's the closest one. You can come over here, click edit work order, and this will open in the DB Analytics web work order where you can change who's assigned and make the edits that you need to on the work order. So while you can't do it directly from this menu right here or from find closest tech, you can still come back here and click edit work order and we'll open the DB Analytics interface to allow you to make those changes. Last but not least, did just want to note that there's a great search bar. So if you need to find an address, whether or not it's related to a work order, let's look up, can't type. We'll look up our office address. So here, if I want to, I can find the closest tech just to an address that I'm searching for. I can find the closest work order to that address. And if I really need to, for any reason, I can add a geofence to an address. So whether or not it's a work order, it's a really easy way to search for things and create geofences. If you know, maybe it's a warehouse that your technician is going to frequent and you want to know with certainty when they were there, you can add a geofence around it so that it pings like, oh, they were at this warehouse, things like that. And I think that's about everything I was going to cover in DBFleet. I don't have a great segue, but Patrick, if you wanted to share and start talking about Intellishift, really the highlight here of the integration is that Intellishift brings you that more exact GPS data, that route view. You're going to see which direction they were going down the freeway rather than it not quite being sure. If their cell phone is out of range, that's another great reason Intellishift's GPS data is great, is because if their cell phone's out of range of something, you're still going to get the vehicle location because that's not using cell towers to ping their location. So, Patrick, if you wanted to jump in and add things about Intellishift and share your screen.
Yeah, excellent. Give me 1 second here. Cheyenne, thank you for having us on this webinar today. It's amazing to see this partnership and what it offers to our mutual clients and clients that are potential prospects to Intellishift. It's amazing. And when we talk about the power of this integration, we talk about the unification, and that's really who Intellishift is at the core. Intellishift is a unified fleet operations platform, enabling businesses to easily access all of their fleet operations data within one place. And that doesn't mean that you have to just be within the Intellishift platform. We understand businesses have different business segments, And the dispatchers, managers, operations may be handling different dispatch operations. That's where Intellishift empowers the DBFleet and the SAMPRO team with the ability of pulling all of the essential vehicle data into it to unify and make that more efficient. Though Intellishift's focus for those who don't know us and don't know me, our focus is to help our partners solve safety and operational challenges to improve fleet management overall. Our focus here is that it's a built by fleet people for fleet people. Intellishift, though, is more than just a vendor. I'm sure many of you guys are using telematics and fleet products out there today. We're not just a piece of software. We go way beyond the software and into the people and processes and procedures that we help you with along the way that really ultimately drive the ROI for your business. And once again, we are a unified platform. And for us, analytics is at the core. Analytics means to Intellishift to help fleet managers that are facing time constraints to easily identify exceptions and issues very quickly, being a crucial part of their process. Our standard dashboards that you'll find throughout each and every product of the Intellishift platform, which you'll see here in just a moment, use industry KPIs, allowing fleet managers to manage by exceptions, being able to include specific filters by date ranges, branches, tags, being able to show different KPI widgets, data tables that are configurable from branch to asset level. You can reorder, resort columns, show and hide different data, and personalize it to how you want that data displayed. All of our data tables are exportable as well for you into a CSV or an Excel file for easy sharing without any report generation. Look, once again, we understand that different roles, different industries may prioritize their KPIs differently. Fleet IQ is the Intellishift's analytic product. Dashboards can be configured by various stakeholders in different industries, allowing the customers and users to personalize their experience. Our Fleet IQ product enables users to create these personalized dashboards using predefined widgets. So it's a no-code methodology. You simply drag and drop that data in the order and format that you want, and it allows you to create these dashboards to be shared throughout the organization, meaning the data is not siloed to just you. Empower your organization to access these key performance indicators that generate the ROI for your organization. And within the Intellishift product, whether you're within our telematics product, our safety product, our fuel product, maintenance, and so on, individuals can set a personalized set of dashboards based upon permissions. So no matter where they are, those KPIs stay top of mind. We'll jump into telematics really quickly, just highlighting some of the important aspects of who we are. Once again, this is the product that's driving the DBFleet, giving you the actual data of what your technicians are doing while they're out on the road and out on their normal operations. One of the things that makes Intellishift unique is our flexible multi-view map, which I'll show you a little bit more in real time here in just a moment. But it allows you to have configurable multiple views on one screen. So imagine you're managing the dispatch operations for 2 different regions. You have the ability to split your map up into those different regions so you can handle dispatching and make your dispatch efforts more efficient as well. Intellishift provides real-time, historical, and scheduled reports for all of your reporting needs. Cheyenne had shown you some of those reports that are powered by the Intellishift platform's vehicle location data. We take that data way beyond fleet operational aspects and go into the other categories of compliance and safety and much more, giving you the ability to easily configure reports by specific date ranges, quickly dig into data on particular stops or speeding, geofence violations, daily mileage, trip records, safety, and much more. And alerts, right? Most of you, I'm sure, are on the front lines each and every day to some capacity. And nothing's more important to allow you to continue to do your normal operations, but still be able to be kept up to date in real time on important information. And that's where the automated alerts come in within the Intellishift platform. Our hardware that powers your vehicle and powers the data to Intellishift and DBFleet is connected to the diagnostic port of the vehicle. So that's where we're going to be able to provide you engine diagnostics and the health of your fleet. We're going to be able to provide you the actual engine running, the stops that it makes, the speed that it's going from the engine of the vehicle, all the way down to seatbelt utilization and much more. For those that are not leveraging some sort of dash camera or safety product today, love to have some sort of Q&A from you all on this. Intellishift has developed its own AI dash camera product that provides a road and operator facing view with the scalability to go into that crawl, walk, run approach where you can implement a road only camera and have a lens that covers the operator facing camera to start to get your experience into the next level of safety, right? Get below that iceberg. And some of our clients, and you may even recognize some of these names here through some of this Data Basics partnership, they've seen extraordinary results in a very short time frame. Day and night refrigeration had seen 75% reduction in motor vehicle accidents within the first 6 months. PowerCo Gas, a large gas propane delivery company, 53% reduction in motor vehicle accidents. And Fox Electric, an electrical contractor, had seen over 85% decrease in motor vehicle accidents within the first 6 months. And all of this is powered by our coaching and accident mitigation efforts, as well as exoneration, the ability to prove that your operator wasn't at fault. Maintenance is an amazing topic to talk about within the Intellishift platform. And Intellishift does have its own maintenance suite where it helps eliminate data silos, allowing you to unify your maintenance planning for a mixed set of fleets, whether it's any vehicles, assets, or equipment. It allows you to connect the field, which is where your technicians are every day, to the shop, whether it's a in-house maintenance shop or a third-party maintenance set of shops. It allows you to simplify your service tasks and put the big picture at your fingertips. And like I said, connecting the field to the shop. Today, you're going to be seeing our In the Field app, which is an operator-centric mobile app. And one of those aspects is the ability for your technicians, the ability to perform inspections on the vehicle and report any problems, giving you the ability to take these issues immediately and make them into a work order for that particular repair. And once again, our device is connected to the engine of the vehicle, giving you visibility into the health of your vehicle, the check engine light status, and what diagnostic trouble codes are triggered, if any, on your vehicle. It gives you the ability to simplify those service tasks by being able to give you the ability to create those work orders for internal and external shops. You have the ability to manage your vendors and your purchase orders and manage your just-in-time inventory all within one single unified platform. And part of our maintenance product is built off of the Inspect solution, all powered by our Intellishift In the Field app. Once again, that operator-centric app allows you to have customizable inspection tools that speed up the inspection process, saving you time and money, protecting your brand, and keeping your vehicles on the road, right? Cheyenne, I'm sure you can explain this, and you've seen this as well. How much does it usually cost an organization when a vehicle gets broken down and now you're not able to make those service appointments that you had scheduled, right? You have the downtime of the asset, the downtime of the employee, the repair, the scheduling, the makeup that needs to happen. And now you get into having to go into an overtime effort as well. Fuel. Intellishift has more than just its fleet products and more than just the Data Basics partnership. And Intellishift is really proud to announce something relatively new over the last few months. Intellishift has a branded fuel card through its partnership with Coast Fuel. Coast is revolutionizing the fuel space. I'm sure most of you are using someone like Comdata, Voyager, WEX, Right Express, and others in that nature, where visibility to that data, fuel slippage is a challenge. Data aggregation is a problem. Coast Fuel is a fleet credit card, but its main focus is towards fuel purchases, maintenance purchases, and all around fleet aspects. Some of the things that it has with the Intellishift partnership is $25,000 in fraud protection, saving up to 10% on your fuel purchases. And we can provide you real-time insights into how much you would actually save with those rebates. Real-time alerts for every fuel and non-fuel purchase. The ability to block card transactions if the vehicle isn't at the pump, once again, powered by Intellishift's fleet platform. Automatically capture those odometer readings, powered by the Intellishift platform. An easy-to-use dashboard for tracking data. Well, why would you want to use Coast and Intellishift? Once again, why would you want to use the Coast and DBFleet? Because the two of us together provide a very powerful environment for you. And it's a fully embedded experience with Coast and Intellishift. It gives fleet managers a more powerful, user-friendly solution that simplifies the work, helps lower costs, helps keep vehicles running safely and efficiently, all within one single platform, giving you the ability to track fuel costs, prevent fuel fraud, reduce manual data entry, and once again, focus on managing your fleet operations. So one moment here, I'll go ahead and jump into the Intellishift platform and we'll get started on that. Just a second. Wrong screen. Okay. Cheyenne, you can see that, right?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. I want to start off at the top and talk about analytics. Analytics is a very powerful product, and many of the tools you probably are using today have some sort of analytics. Intellishift is taking it beyond that traditional linear thinking of, well, how am I performing? How have I performed? Where are the areas that I need to improve? Intellishift has launched its benchmarking tool that provides fleets the ability to identify how well they're performing against others in this space. How informative would it be for each of you to be able to identify how well you're performing against others that are on this meeting today in an anonymized format? It gives you the power to have that edge to identify what your mileage looks like compared to stops, what your idling rate looks like, what your safety events look like, all with one single interface. And once again, with our powerful filters, you're able to filter branch by branch, or look at specific date ranges with a running 13-month view or lens into that data, allowing you to take the advantage in the space, the industry, to identify where you still have room to improve compared to others that you may be competing with or working with on a given day. And then once again, it's all anonymized data. So it doesn't point out who that may be or the stops specifically that they make. It provides you the insights and the power that you need to make those important fleet decisions. Within the Intellishift platform, jumping into our telematics product, you have the ability to come into that product, go into the edit layout, and quickly control how you split your map up, right? It's really powerful to have one single map and be able to see all of your assets, but it's even more powerful the ability to split it up into, let's say, 3 different screens, where here on the left-hand side, I can control and see all of our assets within one given pane on that screen. Whereas up here on the top right, by clicking that, going to menu and filter layers, I can show different things, like being able to show real-time traffic conditions, being able to display specific things such as particular geofences. So I can zoom in on this map and see highlighted here just the tolls and roads that are around Long Island and New York, and be able to identify assets that may be near those. Or maybe on the bottom right, I'm looking at our service team and I'm looking at the particular points of interest or service addresses that we have within our base to be able to identify things like our nearest asset to a particular location. So really powerful tools, giving you the ability to save the layout and have a one-click load to get back to the configured layout that helps run your business each and every day. And once again, these layouts can be shared. So all of the dispatchers within your organization have the ability to be viewing their specific business units. And all of that is controlled through that filter layers and branches or tags, depending upon how you guys operate your business. Usually branches are a hierarchical organization of your fleet as it rolls up. And then tags can be more like what Cheyenne was saying earlier around the type of service that they do, the certifications that they have. So when you are filtering for who's my nearest tech to a particular location, you could say, hey, show me only my HVAC techs, my electrical techs, my ammonia techs, etc. And then your map is filtered already to exclude techs that are not certified in that area for that dispatch to be made, giving you a clearer view into that dispatch. With that being said, safety has been a huge topic of discussion for many years now, and that the power of this discussion continues to happen each and every day. So within Intellishift safety product, we have our AI dash cam, which is a windshield mounted dash camera as you had seen within the presentation just a few moments ago. The data behind that is ultra powerful when it comes to reducing motor vehicle accidents. Within our dashboard, by default, you're going to be able to see what are your biggest risk factors. In this case, over the last week, our biggest risk factor has been around lane departure warnings. It's been around forward collisions. It's been around inattentive driving, all managed and monitored through artificial intelligence, monitoring the sensor points of what's happening on the road ahead and in the cab. When any of these exceptions are triggered, it's going to verbally coach your operator in the cab, giving them a warning, letting them know, hey, what you just did isn't okay. And it's going to tell them things like, hey, increase your following distance, maintain your lane, no phones allowed, or pay attention, giving them clues that, hey, what I just did wasn't right. It wasn't following with our company's compliance of how you operate a vehicle safely, and it helps mitigate that risk on a continuous basis. You'll also be able to gain insights into different trend metrics, whether it's video or speeding trend metrics. You'll be able to see your company safety score and be able to really control and configure data like your operator safety score, where I can see all of my operators, the branches that they roll up to, the safety score, and the infractions that are impacting that operator score, giving you the ability to click and drop to be able to identify operators that have particular excessive things, such as idling that's happening, and be able to see that is as I wish to see this. So if I want to look at people who are aggressively braking, I can simply sort to see, hey, this Liberty Coke operator has 90 harsh braking events in the last week. So that's someone that I want to look at around how they're utilizing the fleet vehicle. Or if I want to look at our lowest scored operator, I can look at our safety score and see that Felix, one of our technicians, has a 39.92 on their score because they have a lot of acceleration, a lot of speeding over the last week. So those are things that the Intellishift platform provides you insights into. At any given time, that data that's being monitored through our safety platform comes into the Intellishift platform, giving you insights into those particular safety infractions, giving you the ability to see, hey, my driver Eric was inattentive during this particular date and time, or Eric was driving, talking on the phone. These are powerful, powerful insights to help reduce your motor vehicle accidents within your fleet and get to what Intellishift calls the mission to zero at-fault accidents. And the way we do that is by giving your operators coaching to make sure that they mitigate that risk and mitigate their inattentiveness to the road ahead. I want to show you something here on my smartphone so you can see this goes beyond just what happens within the Intellishift platform directly. Your operators can go beyond the initial phase of coaching, which is that verbal coaching, and we can provide you through the Intellishift app, the Intellishift in the Field app, for that operator safety. So here within the Intellishift operator safety, each of your operators are given the ability to identify their score, the miles that they had traveled over the particular period, and a leaderboard or ranking to identify how well or how poor they're operating over that particular period. It gives them the insights into what events they've triggered and how many events they've triggered over that period. And they can also quickly search down to different particular date ranges like this week, this month, and also this quarter. Now, the third phase of coaching would be bringing your team in to coach operators that are at your lowest percentiles. Like over this quarter, this operator, Felix, was the worst driver. He ranked 26 of 26 within the fleet. And you can see that those events were around that harsh braking, that rapid acceleration, speeding. Those are important things to mitigate the risk as well. But this should be no shock to Felix, because just by swiping right, Felix is able to identify what Felix's score has been. And you can see his score has started to decline because of how he's been using the vehicle. So we need to have some intervention, have some additional coaching to help mitigate that risk, to help keep a safer fleet, help Felix get home to his family safe in each and every day. When you meet with Felix, you have the ability to come into the Intellishift platform. You have the ability to look at this data in a list view, You have the ability to control and configure the data to look at, hey, I want to see all of the events that need to be coached. I want to be able to filter to a particular operator or asset. So when I sit down with Felix or Tim or whoever that may be, I can quickly identify what they need to be coached on, what they've triggered events on, and also if their manager's been coaching them, I can quickly see that Eric Olson had coached this operator and the coaching comments that they had left that they had discussed in that particular meeting. So now I have the ability to identify how frequently and what discussions we've had with these operators over a given period. And like I had shown you in that presentation, it shows some real results in a really short time frame, giving you the ability to feel safer about your fleet each and every day and have that little bit of calmness that you know that your operators, when something has been done wrong, is getting a proactive notification to mitigate that going forward. So when we talk about maintenance, once again, going to that in the field app, your operators are able to perform inspections through this inspect module where they can simply go ahead and select their asset that they need to perform an inspection on and be able to fill out a configured form that goes through all of the assets that asset-based inspections that you want them to do, like checking the branding, checking the engine, the oil, the windshield, the lights, etc., to make sure that you're driving a safer fleet. And like I said to you, this connects your field to your maintenance shop. And the way we do that is by providing you empowering insights into issues that have been reported, the status of those issues, upcoming service tasks, the status of your work orders, and cost. And it's really simple to take data that's been reported from in the field and incorporate that throughout your solution and resolution path. So for example, prior to this meeting today, there was a operator who had identified a problem with their vehicle. And in this particular case, I apologize, give me 1 second while that loads. So on this asset here, there was a windshield and wiper issue. So immediately, the moment that that's reported, that issue is created within the Intellishift platform. If I need to go ahead and make a repair to get this vehicle out on the road, I can go ahead and create the work order. Here, I can assign it to a particular vendor. So if you're using a third-party vendor, you can assign it to a vendor, or I can assign it to a technician, and I can go ahead and get that assigned to the technician who's going to handle this. Once I hit create, it's going to automatically open up that work order for me, giving me the ability to go ahead and finalize the repair process. Apologize, guys, 1 second. Let me just, oh, there we go. Sometimes Teams slows down what you're trying to do, so I appreciate your patience on this. Once your work order has been opened, this is where your maintenance team's getting involved, right? They're able to enter in the labor details on this particular aspect. So we know that this asset had a windshield issue. So to replace the windshield from a labor perspective, it took 1 hour of labor, and you can denote what the cost is per hour for that labor. And I can add my labor to this particular work order. Not only can I do labor, I can also add parts. So in this case, this was related to the windshield. So I can go ahead and add the part, the replacement windshield, and I can go ahead and add the quantity to that, where I can be able to denote, hey, we had ordered a windshield from Safelite Auto Glass and it cost us $500, $600, whatever that cost is, and add that to my work order as well. While that asset's in the shop for having that windshield, how nice would it be if I can be able to do some proactive service while that vehicle's out? This helps eliminate the need to take that vehicle back out off the road again to keep things more efficient. And you can do that with the Intellishift platform by go ahead and adding all your service tasks. So, hey, I know that this vehicle was overdue based upon our service tasks here for an oil change. So I can go ahead and add an oil change to this work order as well at the same time. Now your mechanic can do everything that they need to do as part of that repair process for any reactive or proactive issues, be able to add any notes towards that repair, upload any images of the repair, or if it's a third-party vendor servicing this, even upload all of your documents, invoices, purchase orders, etc. And when everything's done, you have the ability to update the work order, finalize any notes that you need. Since this contained a service task, which is a regular recurring job, you have the ability to document the odometer and engine hours at the time of service. So those scheduled service tasks automatically recreate at the scheduled interval. So an oil change may be 5,000 or 7,500 miles or X number of engine hours, or on a 3 to 6 month period. You have the ability to set that up within the Intellishift platform. I go ahead and hit save, and that work order is now complete. And lastly, just to talk a little bit more about the Inspect product before I go ahead and open this up to any questions that there are, I want to talk a little bit around what controls you have. Within our Inspect module, you have the ability to build a form. It is a truly configurable form. You can do your basic DVIRs with this form. So I can have a DVIR setup where I can have them inspect different parts of the vehicle and then different checkpoints within that particular component. So for example, in the engine compartment, I want them to check the oil level, the wiper fluid, the brake fluid. When I have them check the lights to prevent pencil whipping, if they tell me that a component passes, like, yeah, the front lights are working. Well, you can have them take a picture of that so you have insights that the front lights were actually working. It requires them to walk around that vehicle to deliver the circle of safety that you need to make sure that your vehicles are safe on the road each and every day. And all of those inspection data come into the Intellishift platform, giving you insights and giving you the ability to identify everything that was done, such as the pictures that were taken of the lights working, or the ability to identify the crack in the windshield that may be impeding your ability to have a safe vehicle on the road. All of this happens instantaneously right there from your operator's handset. And overall, if you're doing DVIRs today, you no longer need to store those paper copies of those forms, and you don't have to worry about the transfer of that information from tech to shop, to office to shop. A lot has to transpire. We have alerts and notifications to make sure that we automate this workflow. And you also do have the ability to set up rules for when this inspection should be required to help make sure that you maintain compliance on a safe and healthy fleet. Now, there's much more about the Intellishift platform, but with our 30 minutes that we had here today, I hope you guys all took something out of today's meeting. Cheyenne, I thank you again for inviting Intellishift into this webinar today. I'll turn it back to you all to go ahead and open up with any Q&A that you have.
Yeah, thank you so much, Patrick. I was just looking at our Q&A panel, and we got one question that was, can we get a copy of this session for reference? And I believe Nick already answered it, but yes, we are recording this. We will disseminate the recording. I know there's probably more questions out there. So if you're not wanting to type it in, you're always welcome to either type it in now, we have a few minutes left, or you're always welcome to reach out to your Data Basics account manager, which is either going to be me or Joe Crawford. You can reach out to Patrick. I don't know if you see his email in here, so I'll make sure that if that's okay with you, Patrick, that's disseminated with the recording, so that if they have specific Intellishift questions, they can reach out to you. Or if there's a better contact person, just let me know and we'll put that out when we send out the copy of the recording. Nick or Kurt, I don't know if in the last few minutes, since questions didn't really come in, are there any questions that you typically see, or like questions that are like frequently asked that we could just answer really quick here on the webinar in front of everybody? Or if not, then we can call it.
I think one of the questions that I get asked the most around people who are coming into the fleet space from another vendor is, what does that downtime look like? Well, Intellishift has a multitude of methods that allow you to have limited downtime. We introduce a multitude of methods depending upon what you're after. Once again, we do have a white glove service to help make sure that you have that smooth transition, whether it's handling installations, whether it's getting you trained on the platform, whether it's making sure that your platform is set up and ready to go day one for you. Or if you said, hey, Patrick, I have a newer fleet. Well, Intellishift also does integrate with all of the OEM partners out there, from FCA to Dodge to Jeep to Ford to BMW, Toyota, and others, where we can simply in one day turn your fleet on and start bringing in OEM telematics data directly into the Intellishift platform. So you could be on the Intellishift platform within a matter of hours, having your fleet ready to go and integrating that data into the Data Basics platform.
That's awesome. I think, Nick, I saw you unmute though, so I don't know if you had a closing comment, but
Yeah, I mean, just some of the other stuff that I've seen that just resolves a lot of anxiety. Inside of DBFleet, you can set up security and everything. Those fleet groups that Cheyenne showed, you can set those up so that your dispatchers or whoever's using the product can only see the technicians that are assigned to them. So don't feel like it's an all or nothing approach. The filters and everything are customizable to serve whatever uses you can think of. I've seen, work order filters, just things like what are all my PM work orders that need to be done, this month. So you can just kind of keep an eye on the things that as people are going throughout their day, keep track of everything else that you're working on. It's designed to be flexible to serve whatever data you need to see. So it's as powerful and as creative as you can make it.
excellent. Thank you so much for adding that. I think that is a great way to close it out. So thank you again to Patrick for coming and showing all of the Intellishift offerings. Thank you, Nick and Kurt, for running our question and answer. And thank you to everyone for attending and making this webinar a success. I'll make sure that the recording is sent out along with Patrick or another Intellishift person's contact information. And please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Joe Crawford, whoever your account manager is, if you have any follow-up questions or you want to see, another demo of it, anything we can do to help you. Thank you again for all of your time and have a fantastic rest of your day.